There we are.
Oh,
I hope my audio is coming through right
hello.
without any interruptions.
Hello.
What's it called? Uh, and if it is, then well, we're back with more Dark Souls: Dirge of Drangleic. Um, what's it called? I, as it's usual. First of all, before we begin, thank you all, whoever may be watching at the moment, with our zero views. That's fine. What's it called? As it's usual, I have to do the shout outs every time I start a stream. Shout outs to Sound Phenomenon for providing the background music, most of the background music that people are going to be hearing today. What's it called? Also, shout outs to my wonderful players who are sitting here at the table. And shout outs to our dear moderator who is maybe somewhere in the chat as well. And what's it called? Today we have a hopefully a special session of Dirge of Drangleic, where the party is going to be facing off against something in the depths. But before we do that, a quick session recap, which I believe, Katya, you want to do it. So go ahead and take it away.
Yep. Okay, so last on Dark Souls 2, Signis backflips his way into the abyss, and we follow. There, we come across a wretched place, a place of no honor, a place that disgusted us. So, naturally, Valencia, never learning that discretion is the better part of valor, has Atlas, bang metal pipes together to announce the arrival. One witness to this was a single, frail, diseased man who, quite understandably, cowered in fear. But after a bit of talking and convincing him that we mean no harm, Dr. Rock performed surgery on him to heal him. And afterwards, we went to negotiate with Melinda the Butcher, I believe, the leader of this place, leaving Atlas behind to guard the recovering man. This goes amazingly, as after drawing him some grass and trees, he makes conversation and discovers there's giant bugs down here, a possible sign of a swarm. Next thing we know, Atlas has transformed himself into a human meteorite headed straight for Melinda's pet bug. Despite Ace's best efforts to lasso them, doesn't work. This naturally isn't the best of first impressions, and a fight temporarily breaks out. Thankfully, Signis managed to roll an nat 20 on convincing Atlas that the poor bug is not part of the swarm, using his own logic against him.
Yep.
And Shield Bearer managed to stop the bug from getting Mufasa'd. So, after some confusion, things settle down, and we convince Melinda that sending people to the surface is probably the best course of action for them, as opposed to sitting in a toxic swamp. And the session ended with us short resting, where Atlas mind broke Valencia with cosmic knowledge, Ace reveals the village got burned down by a dragon, and Shield Baron and Atlas argue about chain of command, I believe. And Signis comes up with a party name after being put on the spot by Valencia. Sun Chasers, if I remember correctly.
Wait,
On
what do you
today's-
mean shield bearer? That was Signis.
Signis, right, yeah. And on today's session, the corpse.
Also, this is not to recap, but just a thing I did last time, just to remind everybody. I have made anti-venoms. I made one for everybody because I distilled enough of the gas from the bug.
Should we put that in our inventories?
Yeah, I kept the one that I made using
How
my
much
extra
does-
reagent. It lasts for 1 hour, and it only gives it, and all it does is it gives advantage on poison. So I'd say use it when we know we're gonna be dealing with poison. I can't make
how
any
many
more.
do you have?
I have one for everybody
Okay.
because I had to roll 1d4 plus 1 to see how much I could make from the gas from the giant ant, and I managed to roll max. So I got everybody has a vial that has no expiration date. I have one that will expire in 24 hours.
Okay.
I accidentally spelled anti-venom.
Alright.
Yeah, lasts for 1 hour. Gives advantage on saving throws against poison.
Anti-venom.
How much does it weigh?
I don't
It's a-
think it weighs that
It's
much.
a bottle. It's not It's negligible.
Yay.
Like, I would be surprised. Like, I don't think Brock's gonna be giving everybody a 1 liter bottle of antivenom.
Fair enough.
Like in any case, oh yeah, freaking Ace has bag of holding, so there's not that much weight in there. All that's there is the fancy rock, the healing crystals, and a friggin' crossbow and some bolts. Oh yeah, speaking of, friggin' Ace needs to divvy out the healing crystals because friggin' we can't have Atlas just keel over and they're the only one who can heal.
Yeah, like, I can do healing stuff, but it's like I need to have time to make potions.
Vorti, are you there?
I am here. What's it called? Sorry about that. So what was the question?
We were at if you were here, and also we were discussing like, oh yeah, sorting out shenaniganry. So
By the way, Bart, I think your mic is very quiet. Is that just me?
Yeah,
No?
your mic is
he's
a little bit quiet.
okay,
like a lot.
how's that?
Ooh, there
Loud.
we go.
That's better.
A little bit louder, but that's better. Yeah. What's it called? So, what's it called? I mean, yeah, people are EP. It seems. What's it called? So, I mean, if people are set to go, I'm going to move your site back to the gutter, which is the the location where you were at, the weird sort of like shanty town in the underground of Drangleic.
Damn, Valencia don't get her inspiration for the recap.
I
That's
mean,
crazy.
no,
So was free of charge.
I will say, yeah, you do get your inspiration, Katya, for the recap. Apologies for that. I was dealing with something on the side because I realized there's something I forgot to tweak around before we started. What was it called? So sorry if I sounded a little bit distracted there. What's it called? But yes, that was a pretty great
Also, regarding the
inspiration. Great recap, so you get your inspiration. Go ahead, Rob.
Pretty great
Inspiration.
Everyone gets inspiration.
Yeah.
Regarding the anti, technically it's called antitoxins, but it's like maybe we'll just call it antivenom. Yeah,
Everybody.
D&D weird.
Wait, sorry, I heard everybody gets inspiration.
I don't
What's
know.
going on?
What happened, but the stream doesn't pick up sound anymore.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it picked up for me.
Let me refresh it real quick.
I'm
to
hearing the stream just fine on my end.
I'm hearing
see.
straight.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good again. Never mind.
What's it called?
I
So
think it's screwed up on my end.
yeah, that's fine. What's it called? But yeah, if I remember correctly, you all agreed to take a short rest prior to start heading down to the the area below the gutter. What's it called?
Yeah.
During that short rest, you guys had a couple of conversations amongst yourselves, but if there's something else you wish to do over that hour where you guys are resting, feel free to speak up.
Atlas and Shieldbearer were, having a conversation. What's it called? Wait, what is it?
To the side, like in privacy.
Yeah. Like, AR kind of like asked, like, well, rather said, like, you're a fellow soldier, right? Like, you might be wondering why I don't follow your commands. Chain of command is important. You're a fellow soldier. I acknowledge that I am useful only in combat and defending the helpless. When it comes to command, when it comes to socialization, I make it clear that I know my place. I assume that is what you were doing as well. And, we just kind of like, continued on as like, Atlas kind of like asked like, does a squire not travel with a knight? Where you just like cast out?
God damn.
Uh,
No mercy.
but yeah, like, so is there something that Shieldbearer would like to say to kick off the situation? If not, I've got something.
I mean, I will just say the last thing he said. Like,
Yeah.
I did follow my knight for 5 years, and then he sent me to get field experience on my own. So he thinks, he thinks it's important to get experience on your own so that you can handle situations yourself without needing to completely rely on him.
I can understand that logic. However, my unit travels together. We're trained together. We've learned from each other. Being together is not a weakness that I see. However, that is not to say that your master has a wrong sense of training, just a different one. The reason I bring this up, I cannot, in good faith, follow any of your commands. And this is why. The Lady Knight, pulled rank, calls out that she is the leader. Maybe people do not listen to her, but she is clearly confident in her ability to lead. The Phantom Thief tells me that he will handle social situations. He is confident enough to say that he has a role. Ace is reliable in the sense that she has made it clear she will not follow rules, and therefore we can work around it. The Doctor has made it clear that he is entirely interested in his own profession. Each one of our party members knows their place. They know exactly what they are doing, what their role is, and how they fit in to the dynamic. You, Shieldbearer, do not seem confident in knowing where you stand. You do not seem to know your place. And therefore, none of us can be expected to know your place either. You insist on commands and leading the charge now that we are down here. But when we were up there, you were putting your hand up to speak. You don't seem to be able to figure out whether or not you are a commander or one to be commanded.
I am confident in myself that I can lead. And one day I will have many men following me into battle. The difference is, when you have lived my life, people start seeing you as a monster before a person. It's not smart to take command at those points. I expected most of this party to be the same. So I went with my usual, try to be good in the start. And then try to slowly but surely show what I am capable of. But down here, and as you have seen, nobody gives a shit about title. Nobody cares whether how you look, what you can name yourself. Only what you can do, and how you can help the situation. In this situation, I can lead us the best. You might also think that me showing mercy to an enemy might be weak. But it's calculated. More than you can think of.
Article 23 of Glamoth's military regulations. There are others to be the warmth of the flame. Knights are to be the raging destruction of fire. That is to say, I do not see your mercy as weakness. I, on the other hand, cannot afford to show mercy, for that is my strength.
I had a question about that. You're here to hunt these bugs, right?
Most specifically the swarm, but that is correct.
What makes a swarm so dangerous?
I have already told Lady Valencia of the dangers of the swarm, but I do not mind repeating it for you. Have you ever dealt with an enemy that can multiply itself?
No.
Can you imagine it?
Yes.
Tell me what you imagine.
You start fighting one, then you fight two, then four, then 8, and then you're outnumbered.
You think too slowly. You have not seen the effect that the swarm has had on planetary spheres. You do not know the dread of looking up and seeing that the sky is no longer blue, but a harsh, ichory black. But that is not the worst part. The worst part is not looking up to the sky and seeing a swarm of black. The worst part is looking down at the ground and noticing that the ground is red.
Yes.
You seem to grasp the ability of an endlessly multiplying enemy, and yet you do not seem to be particularly concerned with the fact that this abomination is capable of existing, let alone propagating.
Well, I know there are many people who can fight these monsters, but I'm more curious as to why they do this.
Why? Because things are in their way. I presume you understand the basic fundamentals of life. Eat, consume, in order to reproduce. These things do not need the first step. They do not need to eat. They do not need energy in order to reproduce. They have been gifted the ability to reproduce and multiply completely on their own without any regards for the natural conventions of life. And yet they destroy. They destroy because everything is in their way. They destroy because anything that is not them is a threat to their existence.
I mean, if we're in a way for what? Could we achieve it faster?
More of them.
But wouldn't they extinct themselves?
There is a sick unity to all of them. And once they have completely blotted out an entire planet, they move on to the next and the next. It occurs to me you do not know what a planet is. Let me show you the sketch I showed Lady Valencia.
It's like Drangleic to Illinois, right?
And Atlas just pulls out like the sheet of paper that shows you like a, like ran like an Elmalois in the context of a gigantic fucking sphere floating through space.
So, Signis is just like standing there to the side, I guess.
Normally you see him nod and following along. You just see him frozen, trying to compute with this information.
This is Drangleic. This is where I am told Malois is. This is the land of the giants I have been told of. And there is more on the other side.
I see that you're talking about celestial bodies.
So we could build further. No need for war. Get people to safety there. Be the front line.
It is possible, but do not forget that others may live in those areas already. If you wish to conquer, then you have to be prepared for that.
If it is not known, how do people live there?
Did you know that this place existed before we came down here?
Yes. Well, no, not here, but after I heard about it, people obviously moved from their location to here. Nobody moved to there.
One thing you must understand is that your history books, well, even if you even have books, do you have books?
Do we have history books?
You do. Yes, you do. Like you don't even need to roll anything for it. You know, there's like, I mean, scholars exist for a reason. But
I'm more like, how far do they go?
It kind of depends. From what you've experienced in Illinois, I would imagine their history books, so to speak, harken back more so to the land of Orosa, which is where, you know, the people who founded Illinois originated from. What's it called? But yeah, you are very much familiar with the idea of like record keeping. I'll say the furthest back they can go is, or that you've seen some history books go, is probably like 200 or so years ago. So roughly around the time where, you know, like Drangleic was in its inception, as it were.
Yeah. Yes, we do have books that keep our history. Some even over 200 years.
And is that a long time for you?
Yes.
Then let me tell you. I'm not sure if you have the ability to grasp what 1 billion is at this point. But know that the world is old. And your planet is but one of a vast, innumerable, uncountable amount amongst the stars. You are not alone. That is where I come from.
So, how do you know all of this and everything about the swarm?
Because I have fought them myself multiple times. My world is more advanced than this one, plain and simple. I hope you do not take offense the same way that the outlaw did when I called her firearm primitive. But this place is primitive.
After seeing what you can do, I see that, yes.
Every single world discovers the world around it at a different rate. It is my job to keep things simple, but for a companion traveling on the same route, I make an exception. But I know of the stars because I have traveled amongst them. I know of the swarm because I have fought against them.
And you are 100% certain that the swarm will only hurt people, no matter what.
There have been attempts at knowledge to do with the swarm. There have been historians, researchers. In fact, the very armor I wear is made from the carapace of those that we attempted to communicate with. There is no doubt in my mind that the swarm, I cannot even call it evil. I cannot call the swarm evil. It is a force of nature. It is a tornado. These are not individuals. They are a disaster.
You see Schubert looking more serious than ever. I will protect people from them. And if you believe me and are willing to work with me as equals, I will promise you that I will kill them. Whatever means necessary.
Yeah, go on, Nathan.
I had a thought, but then I lost it. But Signis probably has just sort of been standing there without either of them noticing. I think it's just.
Yeah. Well, no, Atlas has noticed because he did make himself known, but the conversation has happened, and basically, Atlas will kind of say to Shieldbearer,
If you are willing to make that promise, then I am willing to work alongside you. But I hope you understand that equals does not mean that one can give orders to another. Those are saved for the leaders.
We're all three knights.
Well, you not yet. Not quite. But I take your meaning.
and they just kind of extend out their arm for a handshake, more like a soldier bro handshake, the ones where you grab each other's hands and flex your muscles. Except those are your muscles.
Alright, let's flex muscles. Let's do this.
Lord, not again.
Strength checks?
Y'all
Let's flex.
check.
I'm
no.
actually doing check. That's a 9 to flex muscles. Nice.
Twice. Straight check, dude. Friggin'.
You son of a bitch, says Atlas as he grabs Shieldbearer's hand and begins to squeeze.
Friggin' yeah, it's the friggin' predator mode. Y'all stay doing the squeezed handshake thing in any campaign we in.
Yeah, I will take 1 squeeze damage.
Signis is after hearing most of that conversation is just gonna say, odd abominations you speak of. Those odd abominations you speak of. Do you know their specific weaknesses, what they look like, where to aim, etc.? Just questions that I'm not sure if Atlas would expect it from him specifically. He just mostly interest about all these things for strategy. This is a different kind of professionalism than the one you've seen before.
Aor will like stare at like Signis for a while, just like a dot dot dot. But then Will's just.
If you're interested in hunting them, then let me give you some advice. Their carapace covers their entire body. Piercing and slashing will do minimal damage. The only ability that they have is propagation. Otherwise, they bite, claw, rip you to shreds. Their preferred method is drawing and quartering. However, there is something that you ought to know. Nothing is invincible. There is no substance in the known universe that will not melt if not heated up sufficiently.
Signis is just like cool, just like cool, calm, expression, literally like unfazed. Is like, yes, that's understandable. Metal, most metals melt under or heat, and what I've heard, sometimes we just haven't been heating metal hot enough.
Indeed. That is why the Iron Cavalry is committed to harnessing the power of the flames within. That is why I burn. To burn them.
Quite a pessimistic outlook, no? And overly self-sacrificial in my opinion.
There is nothing else for me to do except protect the weak and destroy all villains who deserve it. And I would not have it any other way.
Signis sort of pauses. Well, I see. Seems you haven't really come to ever question in that point of view. I can't and make you change it. That is not something that I should do, nor should I be the one to try. Just consider, for a moment, and that if there was no swarm, or what else would you want to do?
If and when the swarm is extinguished, the only hope is that I can burn so that I provide fuel for the generations to come. Article 27 of Glamoth Military Regulation.
They kind of say as like they, like stand up to like straight and like put like a fist to their chest, like like a salute.
Shinzo Sasageo!
A knight who perishes in service has fulfilled their purpose. Their valor will inspire generations to come, even if their name fades into the annals of history. Article 28 of Glamoth Military Regulations. Each knight is a piece of the greater engine of Glamoth's might. An engine cannot function if the pieces refuse to break when needed. We all return to ashes, Phantom Thief. It is only a matter of when it is appropriate to do so.
He is quiet, and then he says, I guess, in a sense, that is true.
I understand your sympathy. I understand your point of view. I understand that you must have been taught that life is sacred. I was as well. But it is for that reason. It is for the reason of prosperity for all that I burn. Please do not weep for me.
But if you completed your task, destroyed all of the swarm, wouldn't it be smarter to stay around and protect those who can protect themselves from other threats?
I am created to destroy the swarm. I kill, I fight, I destroy. That is all I am good at. That is all I do. That is all I am designed to do. Fighting wars is not my place. We have been created, as a means to an end. It is not my place to vanquish the monsters that humanity cowers behind. It is humanity's place to grow without their protectors, to find new ways to overcome. It is not my place to continue.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, what's it called? What would you guys do now that you've had this this little heart to heart?
We'll probably start getting ready to figure out whoever's corpse is.
Yeah. Descend.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a feeling this is like probably when Signis hands over those 2 pieces of paper to Atlas.
Oh yeah, probably.
Like I know,
Okay.
yeah, just like hands
Yeah, we
them
can
over.
we
It's
can
just-
retcon that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys,
It's the old-
what's it called? You were told, hey, there's an access way, these like scaffolding and ladders down where the residences of the people of, the gutter are at. It's basically from following the path back from the tower where you met Melinda. The main sort of like quote unquote center of town splits off into multiple different pathways. One of them does seem to lead over to the residences. You would see, even at a distance, from the couple of torches that are lit up, on it. There. Oh, sorry, I just heard like a noise coming from outside the window. What's it called? You would notice that the residences appear to be currently inhabited. Obviously, you see a lot of silhouettes and movement down the way. Lots of haphazardly put together, sort of like lean-tos and shelters that have been propped up by the people of the gutter. A lot of them you see, already in advanced stages of this sort of like undead curse, as it were. That Melina has told, and the Emerald Heron have told you about. How their bodies are kind of seem to be like actually, in very bad condition. Some of them in such bad condition that, much like how the initial reaction of Lawrence was when you guys first arrived at the town, they instinctively seem to run as far away from you guys as possible, almost as if they themselves know that they're losing themselves in this battle, as it were. You would see that in this sort of like large structure, which the residences, as it were, they are all located on top of this even larger platform that again seems to precariously hang potentially hundreds of feet in the air, above this dark chasm. You would see that despite what I just described, besides what I just described of the area, there does seem to be like segments where at the floor, there's gaps in the floor, and in those gaps, very haphazardly put together, sort of like ladders, seem to be present. What's it called? What would you guys do?
Going down.
All right. Before we do go down, Ace kind of like popping her collar a little bit, the collar on her duster a little bit, and
Wait.
friggin'
Question
Three.
about the hole.
Hold
Is it
on,
like a
Rab.
dark
Hold
hole?
on, Rab.
Right.
Bard was talking. Go ahead, Bard.
Yeah, bringing down her hat a little bit. She'd say like, "Alrighty, before we go down there, well, it's gonna be pretty dank hole with blazes know what kind of creepy crawlies are slinking about. For that, see, in the event we have some more scraps that might end up with some of us getting knocked down, gonna be divvying up some of these little stones, so nobody's without some healing. Ace handing, everybody gets two of the common friggin' healing gems. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which leaves Ace with the 2 uncommons left and the 1 rare.
Wait, we got 2?
Yeah, because there's 10 of them.
Yeah, common,
com-
uncommon? Ah, common.
The commons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we each got 2 commons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, since we traveling together, we've come up with a little bit of a little group name to spread our deeds a little bit amongst good folks. Walker here's came up with a fancy name of Sun Chasers. Might have to put I like the name. Maybe if y'all got any other suggestions.
What about the Draco Squadron? Considering our
That-
leader.
Well, that's stupid. It ain't catchy enough. Like Ace just
Hey,
narrowing
It's a
eyes.
good name.
Ain't
No,
got that
the-
pizzazz.
The dental on D creates a strong start, and the use of the Q sound, or the K, is also it's in a similar position, as well as creating a punchy sound for 2 words of 2 syllables. It is, phonetically speaking, a perfect name.
Well, it ain't much of a brand, much more of a branding thing, and
Shieldbearer told us that the Lady Knight appears on advertising and marketing, which means that we will already have a logo.
I think you should make that a beard. Not anymore. Got a feeling.
well here's a
Then it can be a comeback.
Ace
Well
just-
spoken, Sir Atlas.
well,
Okay.
name pending.
Shouldn't we don't chase the light. We should be the light for the people, right? So why chase us?
Sun boys.
Not to rain on your parade, Tin Man, but not all of us are fellers.
That much is certain.
Sun people?
We'll
That's-
work. We'll workshop it, Big Guy.
Yeah.
Workshop.
I was gonna say something in that voice, but I can't.
Vorty,
Yeah.
I have a... Oh, good.
Anyway, anything before we go down into the great unknown, as it were?
I do have a question out of character for the DM. Is the pole we're going into, like, completely black and dark?
Yes, as far as you can tell, there are no lights wherever these ladders are heading.
Rock is gonna say, I have one idea to ensure that we at least have a slight idea of where we are going. He's going to take out a pair of tongs from his bag, grab a decent-sized pebble or stone. He's going to then take a little bit of oil that he uses for his oil bombs and stuff, and just pour just a bit to cover the rock. And he's basically just gonna look to the party, the 3 pyromaniacs of the party, and just...
You say pyromaniac when she's mostly made of fire-ish.
3 pyromants is more accurate of the party, because you have 3 people in this party who have fire-based stuff, and it's like, would one of you mind igniting this?
Sure. Ace kind of snaps her fingers. A little bit of flame just leaps from her hand as she casts produce flame, and it lobs onto the friggin' rock.
He will then toss the flaming stone down the hole so it can illuminate it, so we can see a little bit of where they're going.
How long till it drops?
Only a couple of seconds before it hits its first obstacle, which appears to be a landing, a platform below one of the ladders. Then it bounces and seems to head even further, which takes a couple more seconds. Roll medieval 100.
Roll 1d100.
Imagine if it hits the dude itself.
That is a 75. You see as it does seem to hit something, but it doesn't sound like you couldn't pick up a sound like solid, as it were. Like another stone, as it were. You think it may have hit something, not entirely like geological.
Does it sound like an ooze or a slime?
You couldn't hear a squelch, if that's what you're asking. But it did sound like there was something, not entirely like solid down there. Remember, I wanted to keep in mind that Melinda did tell you that they don't just throw, like, it's not just like, the rotten / the corpse, whatever, down there. They also throw all the refuse down there as well. So, could be either or.
It's either one of those worm things we got told about, one of the oil pit things they mentioned, or water pits or whatever it is. Or it could have been a corpse, or it could have just been a pile of somebody's waste bucket. We have no idea.
Alright.
If you are scared, why don't I just climb down and yell if it's safe? I can
Checking
see
how
in the dark.
we're checking how deep the hole went into, but seeing that's probably a good dozen feet or so, should be fine.
That'll leave
I
me.
say we stick together. We don't know what we might find down there.
So, turn to Valencia, mind than you. I would recommend. Actually, he looks to Valencia and to Signis. And slightly to Ace, he says, I would recommend minding thine steps. There is a chance we may cross piles of somebody's refuse down there.
Valencia slowly puts on a mask.
Yeah, he was mainly referring to because like we were walking down there. The rock he threw stopped on something. He mentioned it to you because he feels like you three are the ones who'd care about stepping in piles of poop the most.
I mean, you get the sense like Ace not too bothered by that.
Yeah, that's why
that
she was like.
concept.
Yeah, that's why she was kind of like a side glance of like a maybe. He's like, I'll mention it just in case.
Yeah, I think Signis would just sort of just shrug and say, "Not the first time. Aim I've had to go through sewers."
You see Ace start tucking her pant legs into her boots, just in case, as she's the first one down, cause hey, she dim light essentially.
Right as
Yeah.
you're
You
about
can
to head
see
down, right as you're about to head down, you hear Melinda's voice come up from behind, in all of you guys, and she says, "Wait, before you go down there. You know, as much as her first meeting wasn't the greatest," she looks over at at you, Atlas. She says, "As much as your meeting wasn't the greatest, I can't exactly have it be on my consciousness that I send you down there to die. Even if that may serve as retribution for the harm you did. A bit harsh, some would say. Plus, I believe that if you're going out of your way to walk in as you have, claiming to be capable of doing all these big things, it's better to put your money where your mouth is." You see as she reaches into her vest and pulls out what appears to be a strange item, that appears to be kind of like this weird, sort of like long, white stone. She, puts it forward and says, "Now, mind you, this one's mine. I'm lending it to you just in case you need it." Not exactly.
What is it exactly?
What's it called? She will
I forgot
say.
to turn my voice changer.
Yeah, I did caught that. She will say, "It should hopefully make things easier for you. Wherever you're traveling around down there, maybe call in a few extra hands. And I will show you this new item."
Oh.
The White Sang Soapstone. I've reworked the way summoning is gonna work this campaign around.
Oh, that's fucking awesome!
What's it called? Now, every time you meet somebody that has another one of these, you'll be able to summon them regardless of where you are. You don't need to look for a sign no more. What's it called? And it doesn't take your proficiency bonus amount of souls. I misphrased the thing. It is supposed to be your proficiency bonus times 100, as we kept it in the previous campaign. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I misphrased it in the description. But now it doesn't take your proficiency bonus. It takes into account the creature's proficiency bonus that you're summoning. You can summon like slightly shittier people to help you in a fight if you don't believe you might not need like too much help. What's it called?
Oh wait, fuck it. So do we get Melinda's? Oh wait, no, because this is hers, so we can't summon.
This is her, so you can't summon her. And she will ask for it back once you're done using it. But the soapstone already has 2 contacts in it, as it were. What's it called?
What does that look like?
Basically, if any of you were to hold it, you can effectively use it as like a put it in front of your eyes, basically, and you see like already like this sort of iridescent effect on the stone that kind of shows like a couple of engraved names almost, but they're not like actually engraved. It's almost as if they're inside the stone.
I don't know why, but my brain's just imagining that fucking messaging stone from Adventure Time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna read
Fancy.
word the thing.
So,
Good.
if
Who
we're
gets
ever... Oh! I guess Ace will hold on to it. Because friggin... she'll look over like fancy magical shenaniganry and like, so if we're ever in a scrap,
There you
so
go.
what, we just kind of scribble it down?
Point it down to the ground and think of a person that is already engraved in it, and you'll be able to summon them.
Alright.
What are the names in there?
There are 2 names inside. The first one is someone called Bashful Ray, and the second one is someone called Lucatil of Mira.
Interesting.
Does it say like what like their loadouts are, or is it just names?
Yeah.
If you were
Oh,
Or just cost, yeah.
it does say their cost. A Lucatil seems significantly more expensive than a than Bashful Ray. What's it called? Actually, my bad. The other way around. Bashful Ray is more expensive than Lucatil. What's it called? You see that what's it called? If whoever who is holding the soapstone, or who would pick it up?
Aces.
Ace.
Yeah, Ace currently has it.
Okay. Also, this is how you would
Yeah.
write that name. Bard.
Okay.
What's it called? Ace, if you were to kind of like move around the item, you would see again in that sort of like visor, sort of like effect where you put in front of your eyes. You can see like the outlines of the 2 individuals that are already registered in the soapstone. What's it called? So-called Bashful Ray appears to be a kind of like very lightly equipped individual with sort of like leather armor and 2 daggers, with a mask that covers like half his face, kind of like a bandit's bandana. What's it called? And the other one, Lucatil of Mira, seems to be a almost like a knightly type of individual with sort of like medium armor that kind of gives the impression of like a thematically speaking, it almost kind of looks like a Spanish like soldier from ye old days, donning a
Like a friggin'
go ahead.
conquistador.
More like
Like a freaking-
like Don Quixote sort of like style like outfit.
Conquistadors.
Yeah, so like Don Quixote sort of like style armor, and like a round shield and a long sword that is almost big enough to be considered a greatsword. What's it called? The person actually seems to be donning also like a mask, but not like a bandit's mask, more like a full face sort of like mask that resembles a aged gentleman with a long beard and a long mustache. The Lucatil seems to also be donning a sort of like long hat, almost that kind of I keep forgetting the name of the style of those hats, but it's kind of like extends almost like in this like pointy way forward and backwards, but not so much on the sides.
Tricone?
Kind of like how Robin. No, not like
Like a Robin Hood, yeah, like a Robin Hood
More
type
like how
of
like Robin
hat,
Hood.
yeah, like a Robin Hood type of hat, but slightly longer.
A fellow knight. We should pick that one.
Yeah, I think that's a tricone.
No, not a tricorn. That's a It's a It's called a bicocket hat. That's what the type of hat's called. Yeah.
what's it called? So she, she hands you this and says, now I will want to have that back. You're gonna have to get your own at some later point.
Alrighty.
We'll give it back
So,
within the hour.
Very well. She shrugs and steps back and just kind of gestures and says, "As you were. By all means, go down there and if you survive, please tell us all the crazy things you find down there."
alrighty.
Well,
Will do.
Also,
Alright, is everyone ready?
okay. If people are ready, then we'll say you're gonna start heading down, but because Jerko is calling the break for a bit now. We're gonna go into a little bit of a break. I'm not entirely sure how long, probably you said like 10 minutes, Jerko?
I said 20, not over 30.
20. Yeah, quick, almost half hour break for a moment because, stuff is going on IRL. We need to kind of deal with that for the time being. But we will be back in a bit. Stay tuned and be right back.
hydrated.
Alrighty.
Alright, we are back. Sorry that took a while, but hopefully people are still sticking around and watching, and we'll get back to where we were in a moment. So as I said before, you guys have been given the the item by Melinda.
We're being lent the soapstone.
Yeah, we're being lent the soapstone by Melinda. Slight correction. When we were offline, I clarified that actually no, the two people cost the same. They both have the same proficiency bonus, which is of 300. Of 3. Proficiency bonus of 3, meaning Soul's cost is 300. And additional addition that I didn't say while we were in a break, there is a third name in there that I forgot to mention. Someone by the name of Lone Hunter Schmidt, who is who seems to be donning, I guess, like leather armor and a longbow. What's it called?
But a man after all our ranged weapon user in Souls games.
What's it called? So Lone Hunter Schmidt is added to the soapstone. All right. If you guys are going down the ladder at the moment, then it'll take you guys a little bit of time to get down the ladders from the residential segment of the gutter. How much the third one costs? He's actually the cheaper one amongst them. He does cost 200.
Nah, best not to skip out.
I mean, we don't know how long we don't know how long it's gonna be, so it's like maybe we'll summon them when we need them.
Yeah. Also, Signis is gonna be putting on another mask, and for the people who played Bloodborne, this one is a little bit interesting because it is gold and white. One half of it is gold with a very jagged sort of line running down on the center, and underneath the right eye is a black rook. Wait, no, black bishop. Sorry, a black bishop. As he dons the Fool's Mask.
Time.
What's it called? Well, in that case, if you guys are heading down, did I need just to kind of roughly know what the marching order here is?
Ace is in front.
I'd say Rock's in like the middle, and he's got his lantern on.
I think we should just place our tokens on the fucking map. To
Yeah.
show
That's
our march
fine.
order.
Yeah.
Signis is going to be in the middle of the sandwich. No matter what the situation is, that's the best position for Signis.
No, remember, you're going
Middle of the
vertically
sandwich.
down. You're going vertically down a ladder with a couple of landings in
I
between.
mean, yeah.
So I just want to know
Yeah,
like who's
right
going
there.
down first, who's going down after.
Wait, can Signis just fucking scale the wall to make sure that he's like the first person who touches it down at least has somebody with them?
Like
you
Rock would.
like
Actually,
there
Rock
is
probably don't.
no specific wall like super close to where you're heading down, because you're basically heading down in like the middle of a hole basically. Like you could try to find like a cave side, like a cave wall that you can probably like slide down from, but like you're not even sure if it might lead you to the same location that the rest of your team is going.
I see. Then parkour it is.
Can
I mean-
you see the bond with your 360 feet dark vision? Not from the top, you can't. You try to kind of like gauge what could be, down at the bottom, from up above, and try as you may, it does seem to go further than 60 feet at the very least. What's it called? You would begin to descend the first, set of ladders, which seem to go down like roughly, like damn near like 70 feet. So just a little bit outside of the range of dark vision. and then you head down the second set of ladders after the first landing. I will point, after the first landing, you actually can see a little bit of the bottom here. What's it called? You see what appears to be a pit, the bottom of the pit of sorts, that seems to have a couple of piles of refuse, from the citizens of the gutter. But you also notice that there is actually like what looks to be humanoid bodies down there. What's it called? You were told earlier by Melinda that she did have to put down a couple of people and toss them over the edge so that whatever they had didn't infect everybody else.
I would like to use divine sense.
Sure. Like roughly around which distance would you like trigger this?
So this is 60 feet of us, and you said that we can kind of see it. So I would say around the landing.
You do detect a stench of undead, below you, covered, partially covered by the piles of, actual stench of refuse.
Eyes forward. I detect the presence of undead.
I think that was kind of obvious with the whole amalgam of corpses.
I mean right in front of us.
I think that right now we should probably try to avoid any direct combat until we reach the source of the malaise. So it would seem it may be best for us to save Avar, or quite limited in our resources. It is for that we didn't have enough time to fully prepare for everything, so that may be our best option.
I am willing to comply, but I cannot promise results.
Say that like we're going after a vampire or something. Probably like a zombie shambling around, or skeleton.
Those were words for some of you, but probably not words that mean anything.
I think it's like, the hell's a vampire? They go by different name.
Probably not what a vampire is.
What's it called? The platforms, the second landing, that you see, down at the bottom, what's it called? Are not as big as the initial landing from the first descent. Thankfully, does seem at some point the first landing of ladders does kind of split into another different set of segments of scaffolding for descending. So theoretically, you could split into, and everybody would be able to fit on the second on the 2 second landings at the bottom of the pit. What's it called? I guess for now, we can do is that I can move you guys to this other map. Just don't. If the positioning that I currently place you in is not the one that you would split yourselves into, then you can feel free to move around the platforms. I forgot that I put dynamic lighting on this one. So I need
Where the fuck am I?
Yeah, because you can't see.
Yeah, I fucking love not having dark vision.
Well,
Guys.
I guess Atlas would be able to see Ace because of her hair giving off dim light.
Yeah, Valencia can also make out Ace's hair, nothing else.
I just see a black screen.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
It's because I've forgotten to apply vision to some of you. Vision.
Ah.
That would make sense.
The system
What is to
constantly
come?
fucking breaks.
Also, do not forget that Rock does have his lantern. I'm imagining Signis probably also has his.
Yeah, but I think Signis has his he has his with the dim lights for stealth.
And Shieldbearer does have dark vision. You said
Yes,
Laura?
60 feet. And doesn't Ace give light?
Like 5 feet dim light.
Yes. Give me 1 second, because I believe my my Roll20 is not cooperating too well with me.
It's just normal dark vision, that's why I have it like this, but yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What is the...
There we go.
What are the heights of the platforms?
The heights of platforms, you're currently roughly 15 or so feet below above the ground.
Do I see any movement? Any enemies?
You would see a lot of dead bodies like around the ground actually. Well, they're not looking so dead anymore. What's it called? As you do realize that prone on the ground, there's what appears to be a couple of what's it called? A couple of individuals. Hold on, my Roll20 seems to be struggling for the time being. What's it called? Give me a second while I check something. Apologies for the little tech issue here. It is not letting me actually place down like some of the tokens. I think Roll20 is just having a hard time actually cooperating. What's it called? When I can, I will switch to jump gate, I swear.
Don't, because it is
What's jump gate again?
buggy.
It is the
It's
more
Roll20
optimized.
sneak.
Yeah, it is a more optimized Roll20. What's it called? For now, we're gonna have to go theater of the mind while I fix this in the background. But you would see what appears to be around 5 or so figures that do stand out amongst the ground. One of them, all of them appear to be humanoid, but most of them are actually currently, prone on the ground, almost as if they're struggling to stand up, or they just haven't had a reason to. While others are kind of like shambling around the environment. Their eyes completely sunken into their skulls, their bodies kind of withered. Not too dissimilar from how some of the citizens in the, in the gutter were looking like. What's it called? There we go. Now I can start putting things on the map.
Yeah.
You see more of these individuals around. Like I said, around 5 of them. However, some of them are prone on the ground. You see piles of refuse, around the area, and there are some bodies sticking out from there, but they seem completely dead and unmoving.
Remove control over the hollows from me.
I forgot that I gave you control over the hollows.
Control undead.
There we go.
Yeah,
If you grapple them,
That's
that's
what
what
I
you're-
you
can
grapple them.
You should
Oh,
no longer
okay.
have
Be a
control over the
necromancer.
hollows.
Are all 5 of them undead?
As far as Atlas could tell,
AR
yes.
can pick up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Atlas would confirm. Like, Atlas would give like a play-by-play on like where they're moving.
Oh,
yeah,
what's the plan
still-
then? Do we run past them?
Skillbear
I
acts as if
have
he
an
wants
idea.
to jump on them. jumping attack.
Signis like says, "I have an idea," and Signis is going to pull out the alluring skull that he bought.
Okay.
Oh.
We could use this.
What's that?
It's the
I bought
It's
this
a little
from
stuff.
Shalquar.
We can
Ace
use it
cast.
to scare them. Zombies
No,
must be
it
scared of
draws-
skulls.
It draws them in. I can throw this and then we can run in the opposite. Well, not opposite direction, but in the direction where they're not.
I want to put them out of their misery.
We can do so later. Right now, what we should prioritize is dealing with the malaise, is so that the citizens up there are not dying.
Agreed.
You
We should
want
strike up a source first.
But what?
Alright.
But what if they come for us? When we are dealing with this source and they flank us from behind?
Then they will be destroyed.
We should focus our efforts on. We should focus our efforts on the source. We should, and should these come later on as an issue, well, we'll deal with them then. And it is simply we simply need to try and prioritize. So I have this. I am going to wait for all of them to. Well, I'll move correctly before I throw this. It says he just fucking holds up the skull.
Sure,
And then we
Barra.
run.
You can see in the dark, right?
Or distant, yes.
Can you see this corpse anywhere?
Wait, what did you say?
Can you see
Yes,
this corpse anywhere?
This corpse?
Mm,
Or the big...
no,
The
yeah,
big
she's
corpse.
asking the big one.
Ah!
You can roll a perception check.
Perception?
14?
Tonight.
You don't
I
see
can
this.
give guidance to that.
Sure. I can add guidance, so D4. That is
18.
Ah,
4.
18!
So 18. You don't see this big corpse anywhere, but you do notice that this bottom segment that you guys have landed yourself in seems to have like this winding path that kind of goes around, and you believe, because you were, when you first initially were heading down here, you did believe you saw a some form of like passageway, or some form of tunnel that led into one of the landings. What's it called, over here at the very least, you believe. It would be a big jump to get to the actual platform, or if you fall, or Signis' plan could potentially distract the creatures long enough. The dog rock doesn't emit light. I could say, give me a second.
Is Ace emitting light? Question.
No.
Yes, a little bit.
Yes.
Aces.
Nice.
Super would say that. Or later info. So we can either jump or run around.
I'm fine with taking the long way.
Sickness.
So Signis, go ahead.
How-
What are you gonna do?
Big is the
Um,
range of your stone.
I can't actually find the handout for the fucking fucking skull.
It's in frig off consumables. Other
Adventuring items and consumables.
Oh, did I
magic
not
item-
make an alluring skull handout? I guess I
You
may have
d-
missed it.
Did not.
I guess I
No,
must have missed it.
we-
But it emits a sound that is audible out to 20 feet.
Signis is just gonna fucking. Wait, let me see. I just need to get this. Yep. That is 20 feet. Signis is just gonna like using like hand signals like count down on like 3, 2, 1 fucking hucks the skull into that corner.
Okay. Because they're just hollows. What's it called? Chuck the skull over there, and it cracks as it hits the ground, and it emits this sort of like cackling effect. As a wisp kind of comes out from the location from where it cracked, and you see as one by one, like all the hollows kind of begin to gather around the effect, as it were. You see that as you begin to haul ass and run away, up the incline, which feel free to move around as you would. You do catch a glimpse of the hollows as you move around. What's it called? Who don't even seem to react to your movement, even though some of you are emitting like a level of light, almost as if they're they're unable to perceive you properly. What's it called? You see that for some of them, their nails have grown to such lengths that they almost resemble claws, and those claws, as it were, those nails are actually dripping this sort of like dark ichor like substance almost. What's it called? But again, they're hollows and none the wiser to your approach here, and you're able to eventually climb your way all the way up to the top to reach the passageway. There's no real
You're
need
just
to...
ditching Valencia.
Ace is keeping.
Did nobody pick Valencia up?
I mean,
Well,
Valencia never. Well, if Valencia would ride on Gilbert back, then he would have offered it.
Like, Ace
Rock
would
and
take
Carry.
like 2 seconds. Like, wait a second. I ain't.
Yeah, like-
It's too quiet. Goes back. You see Ace just glowing and sees Valencia just looking around like.
Yeah, because
Come
like,
on.
remember, Rock's got like a bright lantern, so she can't. So like, even if she can't see, like, you can fairly certainly see where the party is.
Yeah, there's a light in the distance, and she's just
I mean-
following it.
Again, if you would accept that you could just go on Gilbert's back, alright, that's your problem later.
Like, I thought we were all kind of dragging along, because if we weren't, Rock would be kind of like hovering near Valencia, just in case, because it's like he's seen her wound now, so it's like he's not gonna mention anything, but he's gonna keep her in his eyesight.
You would...
What is taking you so long?
Our fearless leader can't see in the dark.
And also, leg.
I can't either. I just went forwards.
My leg is fine.
Yeah,
You would,
Rock would just give Signis the Dr. Glare of the pit.
You would eventually...
He mentioned this like ages ago.
You would eventually reach the a tunnel at the top of this stone platform here, and you would see that it actually ends on a dead end, like a cliff basically. But upon closer inspection, since some of you have light sources and I can actually see a little bit further, it's not that it's a dead end; there's a gap. You kind of have to make a slight jump to make it to this little this other sort of like cliffside, almost like passageway that seems to be precariously close to a chasm almost. You do perceive the smell of decay, and death basically, to be strongest here. So maybe it's further ahead from this little exit.
I'd imagine like wait, is the cavern like jumpable?
Like, what do you mean jumpable?
Like, is it possible to fucking long jump over it?
You believe it is for most of you. You believe it is for most of you. It is like, I'll say probably like a 10 to 15 feet like gap basically in between this where you're standing and the passage.
Yeah.
Lady Knight, jumping in the dark, has proven fatal on many occasions. Do not resist.
As
what?
Atlas just kind of like kicks her heel, kicks like under her heel to like sweep her literally off her feet and just like catches her bridle style and just starts to
Damn!
just fucking leap.
Smooth.
Can I just say this? I don't think Signis ever like stopped. He just He just like ran on the side of the wall. He just did a wall run.
Fucking Assassin's Creed wall run. Like yeah.
Rock just kind of jumps if he needs to flap his wings a bit.
How are
Chill back and
Shieldbearer
just
and
enter.
Ace getting over?
I can just long jump it, and if Ace wants to, I can just have her on my back.
Okay, so part of me's like, yeah, that's fine. Other part of me's like, I want to do something dumb.
Okay, what is it? What's
Listen,
the dumb thing
Just
you want
as
to do?
Valencia, go ahead. You can certainly try.
Are there stalactites or
Uh-oh.
or like
Mites.
any?
The yes,
Stalagmites?
there are a couple around, yeah.
Are there any like roots, like solid roots?
Not as far as you can tell. It all seems to be kind of like rocky terrain.
What Indiana Jones this mofo? We
Okay.
take the rope, try and lasso it on
I'll
on a
say
good rock.
I'll say because Signis and Ace are relying more on dexterous antics, rather than raw strength to make the jump or Rock's flight. You both would need to make me an acrobatics check. What's it called? I'll give you advantage, Ace, because you're using a tool to assist you in this.
Signis also has athletics, the athlete feat, which like makes it so that long running jumps are shorter, etc., and other things as well.
Oh, okay.
Plus climbing speed. So,
in that case, I'll say because you have the athlete feat, you will just succeed this. So Ace would need to make the acrobatics.
Da 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 da.
Good thing you had advantage, because that would have been a long way down. What's it called?
goddamn.
Well, she's dead. Let's move on.
Ain't dead yet, you bucket of bolts.
Yes, our character.
You lasso one of the stalagmites and use it to kind of like swing your way across the the gap, eventually landing safely on the other side. And now I get to describe what you guys see on the other side, and switch musics because there's a calls for a different thing.
Yeah.
Movie vibe.
Dun dun dun.
What's it called?
Go.
The TK rap. Imagine. You will begin to see in front of you that the area is not as dark as the pit that you guys were just in. Ahead of you lies a vast cliffside pathway that hovers over the infinite darkness that is the chasm next to you. The stench of death, decay, and just general foul odors permeates this entire passageway that you're looking in front of you. You see that though the passage at first narrow, it opens up into a wider area that in and of itself is illuminated by bioluminescent moss that seems to be growing on multiple segments throughout this path. Some of it greenish in coloration, others a little bit dimmer, slightly different. You see that this actually stretches out into a wide other series of passageway tunnels that presumably stretch for who knows how long, that could lead to even perhaps further away from where you are already, at this very moment. It's a very overwhelming sight, and once again you see those recurring elements of those oval-shaped statues that are still, present throughout most of your stay here in the gutter. Welcome, one and all, to the Black Gultch.
Oh,
Gulch.
oh God.
It's so green.
It looks
Status.
radioactive.
Rock,
Did
You may
See,
put
did
me
we just
down.
walk into the Fallout campaign?
Rock seeing this vibrant green stuff. Like, this is brand new shit for him. He's gonna, like, do we see these, like, statues and stuff?
You
It's
do.
method radium.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You see like all these weird like statues around that are. You're not precisely right now. You don't need to put your tokens out, but what's it called? You're not precisely right now in the area that you're seeing at the moment. You're still kind of in like little narrow like chasm side like passage. But this is basically what you see in front of you as you are standing on the little passageway.
Rock's
Also,
gonna
yeah,
look at,
wait.
like,
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there we
Yep.
go.
Okay, Valencia would just go like, Sir Atlas,
What is it?
you may put me down.
Here?
Now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's very green
Yes.
here. Very well.
It's not every day someone sweeps me literally off of my feet.
You would have resisted otherwise. Anyways, Shield Bearer is correct. Green rocks.
Yeah, Rock is gonna look at one of like these statues or like the nearest like pile of neon green
As you walk.
from like the. He's not gonna go like in front of a statue. He's kind of like approaching cautiously, like from the sides in case of fuckeries. He's seen Atlas trigger too many booby traps already.
Well, and as because Atlas just type walks up to grab the green, Atlas.
Hey, Rock's
The
Rock's
moment
not going for the same green.
the moment both of you are like walking up to the to the passage, in your respective ways, like Dog being a little bit more cautious, Atlas a little bit more like, yeah, fuck it. You immediately hear a sound go off, on the side, Atlas. Kind of like this sound that is like, and you look over to the side and you see, again, time kind of slows down a little bit here, as you see, like, at the last second, a glob of some form of, like, greenish material has been spat out of one of these statues in the area. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Is that? God.
God damn. Hold on.
I hope you applied anti-venom.
Yeah, hold on. I've got this. I'm gonna use my reaction to add a D4, I guess.
Okay.
10.
That's 10.
10.
Yeah, 10 or 12.
Sadly,
make it.
still doesn't make it. You get smacked right in the face with this poisonous glob that comes out of one of the statues nearby, and it does seem to filtrate into your suit to some extent. You're not poisoned, but you do take 3 points of poison damage as the segments of it that kind of filtrate through your armor begin to actually feel like a burning sensation in your when they make contact with your skin.
Is this an attack?
Upon seeing that, Rock would turn to everyone and say, "Everyone, take the anti-venom."
It said last for an
Quick
hour,
question.
right?
No,
Yeah.
Was this an attack? Does this... Damn it.
and no, it was a saving throw. It doesn't consider as an attack.
Yeah.
Um,
Shit.
Yeah, Rock turns to Ethan and goes, "Yeah."
Wait, isn't the anti-poison venom only to save it through that?
It's for
through
advantage.
the
It's
poison
advantage. It's advantage against poison.
condition, right?
Anti-venom. I will have to open antidoxin. You have
you guys-
advantage on saving throws against poison for 1 hour.
You guys would have actually seen that Signis had apparently moved his antitoxin into what looks to be a syringe as he like slams it down into his right leg.
It has
I guess that
conditions.
must. Yes. That's the 2024 one. I'm just looking at I'm looking at the regular one.
Yeah,
That's
so
why I was like,
regular
damn, I can't
5e
use
one
antivenom to
poison.
heal you. Because it's just like nah, it's just 1 hour. You just have advantage against poison.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you-
Signis does like the bloodborne like inject thing.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the antivenom, because I did post two pictures. What do you guys think looks better for rock poisons? The purple vial or like the medical bottle?
I'm
just curious.
I think like the vial could work, honestly. Like I'm tempted to say like the bottle, but like I'm tempted to say the vial could work considering where you're from.
I fuck with the vial.
Vial looks sick.
Yeah, we can go with vial.
Yeah, the vial.
Yeah. Also, Rock is now going to cautiously examine one of these statues now that he knows that she'd be spitting poison.
Sorry,
well,
it also works just on poison damage.
Yeah, it's just poison
Yeah.
in general, not specifically condition. It's just all poison. You have advantage.
Ah, in that
Yeah.
case, let's drink it, alright.
what's it called?
That's why I made them specifically for like if we're dealing with poison, because it's like I can't do anything if you get poisoned, but it helps you if you not get it to begin with.
What's it called? So what you will, well, if you're approaching it cautiously, what exactly are you trying to investigate out of it?
Well, he's basically just trying to approach to the side to see if the like this stuff like what is it, but now that he knows it's poison, he's trying to basically try and identify like what type of poison it is, or see what.
You
Him, so he's trying to figure shit out.
make me an investigation check.
Let me just check. Let me just check my thing. Okay, I add half my proficiency bonus, rounded up, so that's an extra plus.
Go ahead and roll your thing. Oh, did I lag?